Here's the one thing I want to point out about the YSL situation that I think a lot of people overlook, right? Because a lot of, basically we're talking about gangs, right? And gangsters. And, you know, street gangs, hip hop affiliated drill type gangs are more of a new phenomenon, right? The original gangs and the original gangsters were like the Italian American mafia. And their whole thing was, we don't even acknowledge the existence of this thing of ours. You do not tell the judge that we're a gang. You never admit anything. This isn't, there is no enterprise. This is not, there's nothing.
They were doing it right then.
But that's what I mean. If Gunna's up there saying, YSL as a gang must end, I'm a musician, I fell into this gang. Yo, like, if we're going by mafia rules, that's snitching.
So do you think they started off, like a lot of these gangs start off on the wrong foot in terms of, you know, I'm not going to throw up any hand signs, but they're like, hey, here's our tattoos, here are our gang signs, all of this stuff. It's already like you guys are starting off on a bad.
Okay, here's something I want to make clear to like every street rapper that unfortunately was, you know, born into a situation where they was enticed into gangs at a young age. When you finally get your opportunity to get out and make some music and start a record label, don't name all of that shit after your illegal gang, I would say. That's like my best advice. Like, once you finally get on, it's like, you know, don't call your record label like, we are the BD, we're the Black Disciple Entertainment. Like, you know, this whole YSL thing, like, you know, it's like, oh, it's not a gang, it's a label. Like, yo, you could have just called it like Big Music Movers Entertainment. Like, you know, I know it's enticing and it's fun to like, let's put all the gang and street stuff into our music. And I know you got to talk about the lifestyle you've lived, but like, I think a lot of people just get caught slipping because they love this whole gang ideology and like iconography of the logos and stuff, and be putting that in their music and their LLC. Like, just leave that in the past, man. Once you get your label, call it anything but the name of your gang. You know what I mean?
I think the fact that Young Thug did name it after that gang is why they're going after him so hard, because it's like almost making an example out of Young Thug and in Atlanta to stop the gang culture. Right?
Yeah, but that's I mean, look, I know a lot of Young Thug fans aren't going to want to hear this, but like, that's what the cops are supposed to do. Like, people are like, it's like, yo, the gang is young slime life, but the label is young stoner life. Like, yo, just it's like there's the same letters. You're all in every song talking about slat. You've all got tattoos saying slat on your finger, wiping your nose, slime. Like,
King Slime.
Just you were tripping, man. They shouldn't have done that. Like, straight up, just like, and you know, you've got all these people, these executives like Lyle Cohen, and I forget the other guy's name that was in court, like crying, talking about like, oh, Thug's
Kevin Lyles.
Kevin Lyles, just like, Thug's such a good dude, man. It's just like, have you even listened to his music?
Label,
I don't know when it started, actually.
Well, the thing is, I think the listeners didn't really know for a long time because one of the songs that Young Thug blew off of was Stoner. So it was one of his earliest songs, and then it was like YSL, Young Stoner Life, and you're like, okay, this makes sense. I mean, obviously Atlanta, the police, they're like, okay, this is not Young Stoner Lifestyle. But then at one point he changed it to Young Successful Lifestyle. Maybe like he didn't want to have the stoner, it wasn't brand friendly. So a lot of fans were following. They're like, "Oh, okay, this is now it's really Young Stoner Lifestyle when it was really Young Slime Life."
Can you imagine? Like, no offense, right? But like, imagine being a criminal that dumb and you're like, "Yo, the feds are on us, man. Young Slime Life. We're the Young Slime Life gang. The feds are on us. I know how we're gonna beat this heat. We're gonna change it to Stoner. No, we're gonna change it to Young Successful Life. Like 0-star wanted level now. Got the heat off your back completely. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
you're out there sliding."
But the fact that it was done so early means like he was already trying to camouflage it a bit.
You know what I think's interesting about Thug, right? Because I did a big story on it before the case came, and I actually was surprised because I was like, I'm going to go back and listen to a lot of Thug's old music and look for references to the gang affiliations, and there weren't that many in his older music. I feel like he actually, as the years went by, and the alleged murder that took place was, I think, something like 2015, right?
2015, 2016.
And it was like around the time that those things, I guess, were happening, there weren't as many clues in the music. And it seems like, having gotten away with that for so many years, you know, we're talking like 2019, 2020, when Thug started doing all the lyrics about shooting at people's moms and stuff, or like, we smoked your OG, all this stuff. And it's like, you know, I guess to a certain degree, you know, 5-6 years passed after you've had a rival killed, I guess you could understand why somebody at that level of fame would just be like, I can say whatever I want now, you know, I can just...
Like the statute of limitations?
Or like, we're clear, they can't still be looking into this.
Right.
Yeah, like...
They were making the case the whole time.
That's the thing. But I feel like his success made him a bigger target. You know, it wasn't just that like, oh, we'd gotten away with murder and moved on with our lives. He's flexing on private jets. They're shooting at YFN Lucci's mum's house. They're standing on his car and making it a record cover. I mean, the fact that Yak Gotti stood on Lucci's car in a parking lot and then they made that the album cover. Like somebody at the record label must have approved that and been like,
they probably didn't know.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess.
Possible.
They're like, oh yeah, this is a car.
Well, another guy that was gangster recently. I don't know if you followed up with this because this has been happening while you've been touring Miami. Is Real Boston Richie.
Yeah, I really was I'm a fan of his music. Like he's got some bangers, man. That one with Dirk, he's got that track with Future. Like he's hard, but 1090 Jake saying that the paperwork.
I mean,
is
in two
legit.
different scenarios. But the thing is, what I've heard, and I've heard this from good sources, is Boston Richie was really flipping packs. Like this guy was out there getting money. He was really, doing what he claimed he was doing. But the thing is, he signed to Future. He had a big song that was with Lil Durk. The crazy thing about this is he's talking to the dude 1090 Jake. He's like, yeah, look into that. You'll find out that I didn't tell. And then he finds another case that he told him. God. I feel like Lil Durk's running out of people to collab with. Gunna, this Real Boston Richie guy. They're just going to keep going down the list. Who's Lil Durk going to work with anymore?
Future has to drop him after that to keep his cred?
Maybe. I feel like Future just will do anything for the bag, though. I mean, Richie must have been flipping packs to buy that Future verse because no one had heard of him, and then suddenly he's doing that. Oh, did he sign to Future?
Yeah, he is signed to Future.
Oh, I didn't know that. Damn.
Yeah. So Future gave him the bag.
I'll be honest. I couldn't care less if a rapper's telling, bro. Like, I think we should normalize telling. Normalize snitching. I don't care. I'm not a street dude. I think crime is bad. Gangs are bad.
This is the way I look at it, right? Let's say we just take a civilian's outlook, right? We're like, okay, this guy's preaching the lifestyle of being a gangster. And he's like, this is the coolest thing ever. And kids are watching this and being influenced by it. And they're like, you know what, let me do this. But the whole time he's telling. So I feel like that's where you gotta be like, come on, bro.
It's kind of like a planted NPC there to just manipulate you to start snitching as well. Because if everybody's snitching, then these kids might snitch after that too.
They're making snitching look cool now. I mean, 6ix9ine, everyone hated on him for snitching, but then you find out Gunna snitching, you're like, I kind of like Gunna.
But
I'd snitch. And Richie snitching, we should just all snitch, man.
Yeah, just do bad things and then snitch on people.